Welcome back to the G.I. Joe tutorial. We will now be covering the very last mission in the game. Now, missions 1 through 5 previously had an introduction to the area. A bomb set off a grenade to blow the base area, and then the third area was another small area that leads to the boss. And in mission 6, there were only 2 missions completely. Actually, scratch that. There's only 1 mission, and it all consists of bombing Cobra's base. Sorry about that. There's only one mission. There's only one stage. Now, General Hulk, who you weren't able to use for the entire game, is now made available. Now, it's unfortunate that he starts out as 1A as well, because you haven't been able to use him, whereas we've been using Rock and Roll, or whoever your Joe of choice is, for the entire game. But as you might have noticed, those numbers dealing with the various stats of a Joe. Now, the reason that General Hulk's jump stat is at 99 is because he has a jetpack. He does not rely on having to walk anywhere. He doesn't have to walk. He doesn't have to jump anywhere. He flies around the entire stage, which is very fortunate. And for the last mission, who we will definitely focus on leveling up to as much as possible, and because General Hulk will be used against Cobra. So you have your 2 supporting members as usual. Pick whoever you'd like. I'm picking Rock and Roll just as a backup if I happen to fail against Cobra or somebody. And then just someone else along, probably just someone to take backup damage. Now for mission 6-1. So, General Hulk, you have 900 seconds. You want to power up your gun. There's plenty of enemies. There's plenty of hidden stuff all around this massive, huge base. There's solid floors, and then there's not so solid floors that you can shoot through. Whatever you can't actually shoot through, you can fall through in some cases. So you'll want to definitely make sure you have plenty of bullets for Cobra if need be, and for the base in general. Now, just keep note that General Hulk can fly everywhere, where all of the other Joes walk. And you have to go around and find all 8 places to bomb. Now, those grenade throwers, you don't want to be hit by them. You don't want to be hit by the grenades at all, because they do a lot of damage. More than they should, actually. Now, it's worth noting that if you Now, since 6-1 is your last mission, if you happen to lose all 3 of your Joes in the mission or against Cobra himself, you start and you continue. You start from here once again with your stats, with your gun all the way down to 1A again. But the only person in this mission you'll want to upgrade will be General Hawk and no one else. So you want to get rid of any enemies that you can and take advantage of hidden walls and floors. And just go around the base as you normally would. If you follow this path where I'm going with General Hawk, you'll run into all the upgrades you need and vehicles, transport vehicles, if you want, which I would recommend so that you can conserve bullets if need be. Now, unfortunately, this transport vehicle cannot go through the hidden floors it cannot uncover hidden floors either, unfortunately, to get any of those power-ups for your gun. So I exit this one early because we get another transport. It's slower if you're going for a good time, but this item will ensure that as you're hopping along, you can uncover any of the secret areas with its tri-directional range bullet. You will definitely have to go all back, up, down, and around this entire base, navigating your way to find most of the items that you want, as well as finding the bombs to plant. And if you do happen to lose your transport, just like in any other stage, I don't believe there's any other transports in this stage outside of the area that I've just shown you. If there are, I've never used them, because normally because once I lose this one, then while being on foot won't be so bad, you will at least be flying because you're using General Hawk, hopefully, and not any of the other Joes. since just the ability to fly is much faster. Now that I think about it, usually I end up losing this item can only jump so high, so I will have to abandon it anyway. Because usually I do actually manage to get hit with the rocket by the time I get here. Okay, that way I can't pass through. Yes, that's the wrong way. This area will take you a bit of time to get used to knowing where most of the items that you need are. And as you can see, we're right back near where we started, which you really don't want to be in that position. But since I am, since I still have plenty of time left on the clock, and above all else, you definitely don't want to lose General Hawk. And you'll definitely want him for the Destro fight too. As you can see, I got a bit turned around by where specifically I'm supposed to be going. Unfortunately, there was a full health refill. So now I just have one more. Now I just have one more bomb to place. Now that all the bombs are placed, now I can go for Cobra. Fortunately, you have plenty of time on all of the bomb levels to meet your objectives. And with that done, now you face Cobra. Cobra turns. Now the electric 4 only does a bit of damage, but that's not the major worry that you have to be concerned with. Cobra can fire items, grenades at you, and there is a small pit, which along with the rest of the 4 moves. So this is the reason why you want to keep General Hulk alive with as much health as possible, and with definitely enough weapon to be at max. There's more than enough weapons for you to be at max if you take your time going over most of the area to obtain to get the gun upgrades. The major threat comes from that laser that's in the right corner. If you get hit by it, you get turned into some kind of animal, as you see here. Which the effects last temporarily, but take note that if any of your Joes get turned if any of your Joes get hit by that ray, and there just happens to be a pit that's right below you, you're going to immediately fall right in and lose that Joe for that particular mission. And depending on who your backup is, if you have a backup, you may or may not have enough health. Actually, no, you won't have enough health to survive the fight with Cobra, most likely, and especially if your weapon upgrade, especially if your Joe's weapon has not been upgraded. Plus, you'll also have to contend with jumping over the pit as well, because you're not flying. So once you've done enough damage, and hopefully you have not, if you've done enough damage to Cobra, and hopefully you haven't actually died and fallen into a pit, that's G.I. Joe, an American Hero. You get the congratulations screen and the ending. So you get a credit screen, and then once the credit screen happens, then the game will actually start back up again. Think of it this way. There's a second and third loop to this game, as well as, I believe, G.I. Joe and the Atlantis Factor, whereas you will have less Joes to. You'll still be able to choose the same amount of Joes to pick from, but you will have one less than you did before. So for the second loop, I believe you will only have access to 2 Joes at all times. I'm not sure of the differences between the first and second and possibly a third loop, because I have never took the time to try it. But other than that, that's G.I. Joe, an American Hero tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out for me, and hopefully, if I have not explained myself well enough, I will try to answer your question as best as humanly possible. And if I can't answer it, then I will refer you to another runner of the game who would know better than me. Other than that, thanks for watching the tutorial.